Welcome to our newest video on the Algarve coast, including Alvor, Ferragudo, Lagos, and some of the coastal caves. We are traveling too, and let's jump to it. Today, we decided to start our exploration of the Algarve on foot. So we headed off to the west from Portugal for about 3.5 miles towards Alvor. Following the footpaths along the cliffs, we were led to many visual treats from quaint little beaches to stunning caves along the rocky shoreline. The water here is clear and seemed pretty calm. This is a place that is perfect for a day out on the water doing some paddleboarding, snorkeling, kayaking, you name it. Just a note of caution here. The hike along the cliffs between Portugal and Alvor is relatively easy, but there are some places that become quite challenging and the ground was uneven. At one point there was a place where we had to use a rope to pull ourselves up a cliffside. It was about 15 feet high. Now I'm sure if we had looked hard enough, we would have probably found an easier way around this obstacle, but we were up for the challenge.
I love that you can just walk along the cliffside and all of a sudden come across an area where there's a beach down at the bottom of the cliffs. And you just walk along, then the beach should disappear. So they're like just hidden little gem spots all along the coast.
Eventually, you will come across Praia dos Tres Irmãos, where you will find the start of a boardwalk that stretches for over a mile along the beach areas of Alvor. Once we were close enough to town, we left the boardwalk in search of a good lunch. There were a number of restaurants along the boardwalk, but we wanted to find someplace less touristy. Alvor is a quaint, picturesque fishing town with a population of less than 5,000. It is the perfect spot if you're looking for a quieter vacation destination. As you explore Alvor, make sure to make your way to Old Town and its narrow streets where you will find plenty of shops, bars, pubs, and restaurants along the main street. We even found a church that shares its entryway with a liquor serving establishment.
Another point of interest is the Church of the Divine Savior and its interesting architecture. In particular, the doorway, where we are sure you'll be able to find an Instagrammable shot or two. Overall, it was a great way to spend the day, and we highly recommend visiting Alvor. Well, today we are taking a little walk along the main promenade, boulevard, what have you. We're going down to the docks here at Praia da Rota, and we're going to see if we can catch a water taxi across to Ferragudo.
The walk from our condo to the docks takes about 10 to 15 minutes, so we recorded most of it to give you the opportunity to see what it was like, but we did, however, speed it up. Since we are here in April, which is the month before high season kicks in, you will notice not every store and restaurant is set up for business yet. We actually enjoyed the fact that the town wasn't packed with tourists, making it easy for us to get around.
To get to Ferragudo, you have a number of transportation options, including taking a bus or a taxi, as well as a private car like Bolt or Uber. Price checking the Bolt app, it was the fastest and easiest way to go, coming in around the $12 mark round trip for the both of us. The bus was the cheapest route at about $8, but it did require that we walk twice as far to get to the bus station first. We chose the water taxi, which was $16 round trip, but it afforded us the opportunity to view the castle of Arad, the church of Ferragudo, and this quaint fishing town from a different perspective.
Once we reached the harbor front, we decided to start our visit to Ferragudo by walking into the older part of town to do a little sightseeing first. We were met with a cobblestone road leading into town, done in the same traditional Portuguese style that we have seen everywhere we have gone.
Wandering up the picturesque streets towards the Church of Ferragudo, we were led to a great location where we were able to see how big Portimao really is. If there's any van lifers watching this, you'll be happy to see that van life is alive and well in the Algarve.
The town is so charming, we lost track of time walking up and down the narrow streets. We finally decided it was time to eat. However, it was around 3 o'clock and a lot of the restaurants, especially the ones with the special daily menus, were closing. One thing you must be aware of when in the Algarve region and in Portugal in general is that some businesses and restaurants still close for a couple of hours to give their employees an afternoon break. We did end up finding a small cafe where we had our meal.
She got the sea bass risotto for $14. Comes with a drink. And I got this steak sandwich, which is actually pork and leek soup for $12. And it came with a little beer to go with it.
It's gone now.
Yes, it is gone now. So here's the steak sandwich, which is, like I said, it's actually pork. And it's got about 3 small, tiny pieces of meat on it. Yes, it's half eaten. I couldn't help myself. So chocolate and cream, kind of like mousse pie. Super, super light.
Overall, we highly recommend Ferragudo, but don't plan on it for a whole day. Half a day will be fine.
So Lucy and I just walked about 5 kilometers from our Airbnb to the train station here in Portimao. We're going to be taking a train for the day, heading out to Lagos. It's supposed to be kind of a pretty cool little surfer town. So we're going to go check that out and check out some of the beaches in that area. I guess there's supposed to be some really killer beaches and surfing, so we'll see.
So we just got off the train. We're here in Lagos, and it drops you off here at the Marina de Lagos. I'm just gonna cross over that bridge and head over to Old Town Lagos.
So this is the Portuguese Lagos Castle, completed in 1363. The Portuguese built it to defend themselves against the Ottomans, who built their castle right here. And they sat there and fought. They launched arrows back and forth at each other until one side finally gave up.
From our vantage point on the ground, it appeared that there might be a significant sized castle behind these walls. As you can see, that's not the case. These walls were first constructed by the Romans and then later reinforced by both Arabs and Christians.
After admiring the walls of the fort, we stopped for lunch at a cliffside restaurant. The view was perfect. Afterwards, we could not pass up the opportunity to grab a few photos to show you just how perfect Mother Nature can be. Millions of years of waves, wind, and rain have carved the landscape here into masterpieces of art.
they're lying to us. They say Infanta de Enrique lived for 500 years. I'm not buying. Big surprise. Here's another church. This one happens to be a national monument.
If we were planning only a 1-week trip to Portugal, Lagos is the place we would want to stay. There's an eclectic mix of a chill surfing town vibe and yet upbeat party energy that flows through the narrow streets daily.
We're in Lagos and we're at the train station, which is right there. And while we're waiting for our train, we picked up a super box stout beer and a cappuccino. All for €5. Can't beat that.
Today I went on a boat trip exploring the sea caves around the Algarve area. It left at 9 a.m., which was the first excursion out and lasted 2.5 hours. I highly recommend going as early as possible and taking a paddleboard or kayak, since you can leave earlier and actually go on the beach. The earlier you go, the calmer the water is, and there are fewer people. Regardless of how you choose to see the caves, it is definitely something you must do while in the Algarve region. Tim and I were going to take paddleboards to Benagil Cave, which you'll see at the end of this video, but sometimes plans have to change. Tim was not able to join me due to a medical emergency. Well, maybe emergency isn't the best term to use, but he has not been able to get out of bed for the past week due to a debilitating back pain. We have no idea how this will affect our next move, as we have to be out of this condo in a week. Finding a doctor here that was not inside an emergency room proved difficult, but we did find a non-English speaking gastroenterologist to evaluate him on short notice, which was a godsend. Tim was able to tell the doctor what prescriptions he needed by using the Google Translate app, and the doctor obliged. Hopefully, you will hear he's doing better in our next video, which will be our cost breakdown for the month. If you would like to stay up to date on our journey, hit the notification bell and subscribe button to be alerted that our next video is up. Until next time, peace, love, and travel on.